Carol Ann Cross. She is a certified angel intuitive and host of Angel Heart Radio and Enlightened World Network's main channel. Today, she will talk to us about the elements and how they are inside of us. Hello, Carol Ann.
Hello, Pamela, and good morning from Brisbane, Australia, because it's what is it, 8 a.m. over here in the morning. So it's just a lovely day that we've had a lot of rain and it's been beautiful.
Oh, that's wonderful. Well, I'm going to step to the side and allow you to share your wisdom.
Thank you. Thank you. So my little journey began obviously a long, long time ago, but when I awakened to the world of the elementals a few years ago, after doing a workshop with Diana Cooper, my eyes were opened even further to our amazing world. And the elementals embody each of the primary elements that make up our world, and that is the earth, water, air, and fire. And the elementals work with the elements to assist us to maintain the world's balance by nurturing our planet and sustaining life on our beautiful Mother Earth, Gaia. So if we step back a little bit to the ancients believed the world to be composed of 4 basic elements: fire, water, air, and earth. And these were considered the critical energy forces that sustained life. But then those 4 elements combined together to create life, together with the 5th element, ether, which is the life force, spirit, or prana. So when we look at our personal connection with the elements, our lives open up to a deeper and more meaningful alignment with Mother Earth, Gaia. When we think about our physical body, they contain each of the elements. Earth is in our bones and the minerals within our body. Fire is in the electricity and the heat that we produce. Air constantly flows through us with the beautiful breath of life, as does water in our fluids and our blood. Space or ether is what contains all of the above within and around us. Now, while it's easy to become infatuated with the beauty of Gaia's gifts, she can also be a great destroyer. And just as we disappoint our human mothers and the consequences are dispensed, so too Gaia balances out the injustices that she suffers. Famine, extreme weather, volcanoes, and tsunamis are the ways that she rights herself and restores her balance. And so while these actions can look punitive, she sometimes creates destruction in order to create something better. So we need to remember that even in chaos, there is a purpose beyond what our human minds can see. And by moving into better alignment with her and the elements, these unpredictable forces can be ridden through with ease and understanding. And it's only by shifting our own perception that we can link to the consciousness of Gaia to change the earth. So let's think for a moment about each of the elements. So the element of fire represents the spirit, and sight is our sense that corresponds to fire and the spirit. Fire has transformational and purifying powers, and it can give warmth and enable life, but it can also burn and destroy. Fire energy allows for renewal and regrowth. So have you ever really, really wanted something? Really, really wanted it? Well, that's fire. That's desire within you. And that's passion and boldness. And it gives you the action to go ahead and do this. So when you call upon the element of fire, then it can assist you. Just need to call upon it. So fire is one of the most important forces on earth. And the use of fire by humans has long been considered as the defining property of intelligence, separating us from other animals. So imagine when the early humans, early mankind appeared and they found fire. Just imagine how much that changed their lives. And fire needs three things in order to exist. It needs oxygen, fuel, and heat. So when our inner flames are stoked, then fire provides the energy for the body. And this element fuels our sense of independence and motivation. So we know that our life is in balance when we can easily tap into all of the emotions associated with power, which is inner strength, confidence, discipline, motivation, and change. But when it's off kilter, we may feel irritable or angry and experience inflammation, digestive problems, or fever. So what do you need to open up to the element of fire? You can light a candle and see what that living flame has to show you. Have you ever lit a candle, gazed into that flame, and observed the aura, the energy around that flame? Have a campfire. Watch that fire. It goes in circles. It dances. And when you have a fire, the elemental that belongs to the element of fire is the salamander. Now, the salamanders are absolutely cute little sausages, and there is an elemental in every single fire, whether that fire is the light of a candle or a campfire. The salamanders control the fire. If there's a volcano erupting, you can be sure that the salamanders are involved. Now, something I want to say about the elementals before I go any further. The elementals cannot do any harm to you as a human, a soul in a spirit, in a human body. So the elementals, the salamander is here to help guard against the things that happen with fires. So their role is to look after the fire. So if you're having a campfire and you can't get the fire to light, the spark to light, call on a salamander. Salamanders are very misunderstood. And so you need to realize and trust your intuition that that salamander is here for the good of all mankind. Bushfires that we have sometimes in Australia, we need bushfires to regenerate certain plants and seeds and trees that can only regenerate through fire, through the heat of intense fire. So there's always a purpose, even if we don't understand it at the time, for a fire. Now, the chakra that's associated to fire is the navel chakra. And this is all about our sense of self, purpose, and personal identity. I also think of the navel chakra as a chakra for creativity. And so when we get that passion, that fire within us, then that is what the fire element is within our bodies. And so trust and play with the element of fire. I'm not talking about going out and lighting a fire. I'm talking about thinking about the passion that you hold within your body for something that you are really, really wanting to do, caring about. So go into that space and call upon the element of fire because it ignites the passion within you. The next element I want to mention is the water element. Now, the element of water it represents the soul. And the soul is the realm of our spiritual treasures. And the sense of taste comes into play for our soul and water. Water is the most psychic of all the elements. It cleanses, nourishes, and reflects. But it's also very passive and malleable. Think about water. It takes on the shape of whatever contains it, whether that is a river, the ocean, a glass. A glass of water is taking on the shape of that glass. So it's a wonderful, wonderful element if we stop and think about it. And water rules our emotions and the subconscious. And we think about our emotions. A lot of people are affected by the moon. The moon looks after the tides. It runs the tides, it rules the tides, but it also rules our emotions. Water is a cleansing power. So it is symbolic of dreaming and healing. It symbolizes death as well as rebirth. It's soothing, sustaining, and nourishing. The element of water helps us to connect to our feelings and our emotions. Water that's traveling through your body takes away the chemicals, traveling through your body, moves through the chemicals and the minerals and the nutrients that you need for a healthy body. Water's ability to dissolve substances helps to keep our planet healthy. For more than a century, the burning of fossil fuels have pumped large amounts of CO2 into the atmosphere. And the waters in the ocean have absorbed about half of this by dissolving the gas from the air. So let's think about the elements of water. When we think about the elements of water, we have the undines, and the water sprites. Now they live in water. It can be water in a muddy puddle. When you want to go and jump in a muddy puddle, you can be sure the water sprites are saying to you, come and have fun and play with us. But they also have a more serious job of cleansing all of the waters and helping to purify and get rid of the negative energies, as well as the carbon monoxide and all of the gases that have gone into the sea vegetation. I'm just being told here by my guides, I should just say a few words about the elementals altogether. So the elementals are with us each and every day. They're here on the planet to sustain life, as I said, but also to work with us. They are like the angels. They're just on a slightly different dimension to humans and the angels. But if you just go outside into the garden, or even looking at a plant in a pot, and if you go into a space of meditation or even just relax, you will be able to see all of the elementals. But I'll come to those elementals in just a moment. I just want to talk to you about water. And the other thing about the water elementals is mermaids are also water elementals. Now, I know a lot has been said about mermaids and whether they're real or not. But yeah, I do believe that they are. I believe they take on different life forces, and that is something that I really enjoy, the thought of a mermaid in the water. So, like the other elements, even though water nourishes and nurtures, it can be destructive. So we need to then look at why that's happening. Like in Australia at the moment, we have a lot of rain on the East Coast, a lot of flooding, but that's all about cleansing. It's all about clearing away. So we need to look at the bigger picture and not just at the small picture. So to get water flowing in your life, I want you to take a walk in the rain. I can do this today easily. And notice how that rain gathers together to form puddles and pools. Throw a stone into a lake or a pond and watch the ripples that go out from that. And to me, the ripples symbolize when we send our love out to people in the planet, our healing energy, it ripples out also. Feeling compassion and shedding tears are working with the water element. The chakra for water is the second chakra, the sacral chakra. It's all about flow and sensuality, and it's associated with the autumn season. So in Australia, we get a lot of rain in autumn, and so I think it's quite interesting how when we stop and think about each of the elements, how they fit in with each of the seasons. We are so linked up with the elements, the elementals, and our beautiful Mother Gaia, that when we stop and think and look around us, we are so blessed with everything that is here. So just take a moment every now and again to think about that. So I'm just going to talk to you now about the element of air. And this relates to the mental plane of existence. The mind and the sense to correspond to the mind is touch. Air is considered the breath of life. Survival without it is measured in minutes. So it's important that we can think about air and breathe, and it just happens automatically. Air is considered a pure element, and the composition of air is just right for life on Earth. And it symbolizes a vast network from the winds that brought the universe into being to the first cry of a newborn baby. And when we stop and think about air, we think about the wind. The elementals that belong to the element of air are the sylphs and the dragons. And you only have to look up at the clouds and you can see all these beautiful shapes, and to know that the air is circulating around Mother Gaia, and that the birds who are needing to hibernate, they can follow the currents for each season to know where it is that they are meant to be, where they need to go to breed, and where they need to go to get their correct food at the time. So the elementals do a lot of work also. Recently with COVID, of course, we haven't been flying so much around the world. So there hasn't been so much pollution in the atmosphere. But when we return to normality, so to speak, the sylphs will be doing a lot of work to clear the pollution that's within the air. And the dragons are also helping to get rid of the dross and the negative energies that are there. The dragons and the sylphs are fascinating, but you know, we've talked about them on our other shows. So I'll go on continuing talking about the elements. Now, air, the element of air, represents all forms of motion, including the circulation of blood within your body, your breath, and your thoughts. And when you are in balance with the air element, it gives off light and a sense of buoyancy. You can feel happy and light and free. But when it's out of balance, it can show up as anxiety and indecision. And it may cause disruptions to your immune system or your hormone production. So we need to try and stay in balance with all of the elements, not just the air, but the air is very important. And the chakra that's associated with the air element is the heart chakra. Hello, that's no mistake, is it? And it's all about a sense of relationship, boundaries, balance, and love. And air is associated with the season of spring. So just think about all of the beautiful perfumes of the newly opening flowers. and all of the fields with their new corn and hay and the beautiful grasses. So that's all out there blowing around in the breeze, the air. Now we get to the earth element. And the earth element represents our physical body because we have the same minerals and chemicals that are found in the planet within our physical body. And the sense to the element of earth is our sense of smell. And when we cultivate the earth energy, we ground ourselves and allow us to find a sense of place within our body and the world. It is our roots. And grounding ourselves into Mother Earth is absolutely the most beautiful and necessary thing we can do all of the time, because it's so important for us to stay in balance. And earth is the most dense of all of the elements. It's cool, heavy, rough, and stable. It represents our body structure and helps to give us shape. And when the earth element is out of balance, we can have issues with our skin, our hair, our muscles, our bones. And we need to think about earth as an element of stability. And this is the way that I think about Mother Earth, Gaia. She is our stable. She is here. She is here for us. And we need to look after her because the earth element has a cleaning power as well. So it is cleaning all of those negative energies, the gases and the CO2s and all of the negativity that has gone into the earth. And the elementals, I love the earth elementals. They're the gnomes and the fairies and the elves and the crystals and the trees. Just think about the trees and the air, because when we breathe in what the plants and the trees breathe out, then they breathe that in. And then it's a cycle. We're all connected. We need the trees and the plants, and they need us. So Earth is all about commitment, permanence, and about getting results. And you can sense and strengthen your connection to Earth when you put your bare feet on the ground. You can also plant a garden. And you can put a house plant in a pot. I think it's wonderful to get children to plant a little seedling and then help them to watch it grow and nurture it. And it instills in them the value and the necessity of our earth and our looking after everything that we have here on the earth. And the chakra that is associated with the earth is the root chakra, of course. So this is about our sense of being, survival, stability, and support. And then we'll come to ether. Ether is the most subtle of all of the elements because it's all about space and openness. Ether is the space that all of the other elements fill. It has properties of lightness, airiness, and spirituality. It is the element that governs the space within our bodies, including the space inside each of our cells. And when ether is unbalanced, it can create blockages. Energetically, we may feel closed off, and it's as if we can't get enough time or space. But when ether is in balance, it allows for clear, truthful expressions and communication. Ether, of course, the chakra representing ether is the throat. It's our sense of acceptance, truth, communication, and integrity. And the season for ether is winter. So I would like to just take you through a little meditation that brings in all of the elements: fire, water, air, earth, and ether. So one way of imagining this is that first we are spirit and we agree on a soul, a calling for our spirit. And then we merge with air and take our first breath. And so begins our physical presence on Mother Earth. Ether keeps us going by ensuring that the elements vibrate in a certain pattern so that we can be who we are and have a spiritual experience on Earth while sharing our special gift of love from our heart. So just close your eyes for a moment and take a few breaths in. And I'd like you to visualize water nurturing your very being. It can be any form of water: pond, a stream, a river, or an ocean. So is it calm and still? Or is it flowing swiftly? There may be white caps on the ocean waves, or a fine mist of water dancing in the breeze by a waterfall. Water is the element that represents our soul, and our soul is the realm of our spiritual treasures. Our mind corresponds with the element of air. To understand our mind and the qualities of inspiration or the breath of God, we meet the angels of air. So take a deep breath and imagine you are breathing in the love and inspiration of the angels. And let your breath go in a long exhalation. And each breath you take now can be an opportunity to rediscover the source of your deepest inspiration. Our heart is the guide into the highest realms of ether. The elemental influences are all equal in importance of ether, but it is the one that pervades all of the other energies. You may know it as chi or ki energy, prana, life force, or God energy. And I would like you for a moment to visualize your heart beating at the center of your body. Breathing deeply and slowly, imagine peace surrounding your heart with shimmering flecks of angelic light. And let the light flow into your bloodstream, bringing peace to all your living cells. And now the element of fire. It represents spirit. And through our spirit, we meet the angels of fire. Divine vision and insight are ways to strengthen our spirit. Imagine that your heart is the fireplace of a sacred flame, and your body surrounds this sacred flame. In your mind, establish a sacred fireplace. And this is in your sanctuary. And you can light that fire, the sacred fire, from the fire in your heart. This is a fire for life. Think about the sound of the fire burning, the friendly feeling of the fire spirits, and feel the warmth and love emanating from the flames. Observe the flames as the air circulates through and around the fire. Dance around the fire with love in your heart and soul. The element of earth is representing your physical body. So dance with the winds of heaven. Allow yourself to be a free spirit. knowing that each of the elements forms a part of you, a part of who you are, a part of lifting you to a life that's filled with love and peace and happiness. Working with the elements and the elementals brings a whole new way of looking at what is around us each and every day. Take a breath. And when you go outside next time, go into this place of the elements and the elementals. Go out into the wilderness, for the elementals are the ones who bring that beautiful energy into the wilderness, into the parks. Play with the puddles of water. Watch the reeds swim on the edges of the lakes. The divas are swimming and waving and dancing. Look up at the sky, the clouds, the silts and the dragons are there in the wind, clearing the air, bringing life and love to each of us. There is so much here for each of us if we just allow ourselves to step into that place of beauty, of magic, of imagination, knowing just how much we are loved and we are cared for by the divine, the creator, by our beautiful Mother Gaia, by the elementals and the elements, by our angels and our spirit guides and teachers. So slowly come back to your physical body. Be aware of the beautiful energy surrounding you. Give thanks for all the support you receive each and every day. When you are ready, take a deep breath and gently open your eyes. Namaste and thank you. Thank you, Pamela. Thank you for being here.
Thank you, Carol Ann. That was beautiful.
Thank you. Thank you.
I actually went off and lit a candle and made a cup of tea.
Oh, you know, when you look into candles, when you look at the energy of candles, and it's such an easy thing for us all to do. And you know, it's lovely, and I love going out, and you know, as children we used to always jump in the puddles, but we can do that as adults as well, and just let our hair down and enjoy life and look at the clouds and know about the silts and the dragons. And oh look, we're just so blessed and lucky to be here in this world at this time with everything that's happening. So yeah, it's how we look at life, isn't it, really?
Yeah, it really is. And I did remember playing in the mud as a kid. I loved playing in the mud. And so as an adult, I decided to take a pottery class because it was an adult version of playing in the mud.
That's great. Yeah. Yes, I like that. That's really good. And this is it. We're only limited by our imagination, aren't we? And when we feel that passion, that fire within us to do something like that, I think it's wonderful when we listen to those messages that we receive.
Yes, definitely. Well, thank you again. So if people want to learn more about you and what you do, where can they find you online?
Okay, so I'm on Facebook as Carol Ann Cross. I have a website, carolsangelwings.com. You can find me on Enlightened World Network and also on Angel Heart Radio. So
You're just spreading love everywhere.
you know, that's what it's all about, isn't it? Because it's how we look at life, really and truly. And you know, it doesn't mean that you know, it's always been an easy journey, but where I'm at now, this is where I want to be. Just feel so happy, so loved, and so appreciated. So thank you for being my host today. I've really enjoyed our connection again.
Same here. Well, thank you again. And on behalf of Enlightened World Network, One with the Earth, please be well.